In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, there's a scene that determined every soul's fate for eternity. A deceased person's heart, representing their deeds in life, is placed on a scale. On the other side sits the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice. If the heart is lighter than the feather, the soul enters paradise. If heavier, it's devoured by Amit, the demon. Complete annihilation. No afterlife. Nothing. And standing beside the scale, recording the result with absolute precision, is a figure with the head of an ibis bird holding a reed pen and a palette. His name is Thoth. Thoth is the most enigmatic god in the Egyptian pantheon. He's not a warrior like Horus. He's not a king like Osiris. He's not destruction like Set, or seduction like Hathor. Thoth is something else entirely. The intellect behind creation. The inventor of writing. The measurer of time. The keeper of cosmic balance. The magician who knew words of power that could reshape reality. Ancient Egyptians believed Thoth existed before the other gods, that he created himself through the power of sound, speaking himself into existence from the void. The Greeks identified him with Hermes, their messenger god, combining them into Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great Hermes, the legendary founder of alchemy, astrology, and magic. Medieval alchemists claimed Thoth wrote the Emerald Tablet, the foundational text of Western esotericism. Modern occultists believe Thoth designed the tarot cards and encoded secret knowledge in their symbolism. But who was Thoth really? Was he just a myth? A personification of wisdom and writing? Or does his story contain something deeper? Lost knowledge from one of history's most sophisticated civilizations. Over the next 2 hours, we're going to explore the complete mythology of Thoth, his mysterious origins, how he created himself and became twice great, his role in creation, speaking reality into existence alongside Ra, his invention of hieroglyphs, the sacred writing that preserved Egyptian civilization for 3,000 years, his mastery of magic, the Heka that controlled gods and demons alike, his role as cosmic accountant, measuring time, the moon, and in the stars, his judgment of the dead, recording every soul's fate, the books of Thoth, forbidden texts of ultimate power that many searched for but few found, his transformation into Hermes Trismegistus, how an Egyptian god became the father of Western magic, and his influence today, why Thoth still appears in modern occultism, literature, and popular culture. This is the story of the god who knew too much, the divine scribe who recorded everything, the keeper of secrets who might have encoded knowledge we've lost. This is the complete story of Thoth. Act 1. The Origins. Chapter 1. Self-created, the god who made himself. Let's start with a question. Where did Thoth come from? Unlike most Egyptian gods, Thoth has no clear origin story that all ancient sources agree on. This isn't because the Egyptians forgot. It's because Thoth's origins were mysterious even to them. The most common tradition claims Thoth created himself. In Hermopolis, ancient Kumun, modern El Ashmunin, Thoth's cult center, priests taught, in the beginning, before creation, there was Nun, the primordial waters of chaos, infinite, dark, formless. In this void, a sound emerged, not random noise, a word, a divine utterance of such power that it brought forth existence. That word became Thoth. He manifested as an ibis bird, sacred, white-feathered, with a long, curved beak. The ibis was special to Egyptians. It appeared during the Nile flood, bringing life. It ate dangerous creatures like snakes and scorpions. It represented purity and wisdom. Its curved beak resembled the crescent moon. Another version says, Thoth emerged from a cosmic egg. The egg appeared in the primordial waters. When it hatched, out came Thoth, already fully formed, already possessing infinite knowledge. This egg was called the egg of the sun, and Thoth's hatching brought light to the darkness. Some texts call Thoth the son of Ra, the sun god, but not born the normal way. Instead, Thoth emerged from Ra's forehead, like Athena from Zeus in Greek mythology, pure thought made manifest. The intellectual aspect of the sun god given independent form. Here's where it gets strange. Some texts say Thoth was Ra's father, not his son. That Thoth existed first, spoke creation into being, and Ra, the sun, was his first creation. This creates a paradox. Is Thoth Ra's son, or Ra's father? Did Thoth create himself, or was he created by Ra? Is he older than creation, or part of creation? The answer is yes, and this is intentional ambiguity. Egyptian theology wasn't systematic. It was layered, metaphorical, and comfortable with contradiction. Thoth represents intellect and knowledge that exists beyond linear time and causation. He's the logos, the organizing principle of reality itself. In Hermopolis, Thoth was associated with the Ogdoad, 8 primordial deities representing aspects of chaos. Nun and Naunet, water, Her and Hauhet, infinity, Kek and Kauket, darkness, Amun and Amaunet, hiddenness. These 8 emerged from chaos and created the world. Thoth was sometimes counted among them. Sometimes he was their leader. Sometimes he existed before them. Again, intentional ambiguity. Ancient texts give Thoth many titles. Self-created one, Lord of divine words, he who reckons in heaven, twice great, later thrice great, the Lord of Ma'at, truth/order, heart of Ra, tongue of Ptah. Heart of Ra and tongue of Ptah are particularly important. In Egyptian thought, the heart was the seat of intelligence and will. Calling Thoth heart of Ra means he is Ra's intellect, the thinking part of the sun god. Ptah was the creator god of Memphis who created through speech. Calling Thoth tongue of Ptah means he is the voice that speaks creation into being. Thoth is the divine intellect and the divine word, thought and speech, mind and language. These are Thoth's domains. Thoth had 2 main forms, the ibis and the baboon. The sacred ibis was white and pure, with a curved beak like the crescent moon, associated with writing and wisdom. The baboon was nocturnal like the moon, chattering perhaps like writing, associated with time and calculation, and sometimes depicted as man with ibis head, sometimes as man with baboon head, sometimes as the animals themselves. Both animals were sacred in the Hermopolis region. Both were associated with intelligence, both connected to the moon, Thoth's celestial body. The ibis represents contemplative wisdom. The baboon represents active intelligence. Together, theory and practice. Thoth was closely associated with the moon. Egyptians saw the moon as counter to the sun, measurer of time through the lunar calendar, guide at night, associated with wisdom, illumination in darkness. Thoth was the moon itself, or the god who measured the moon's phases, the regulator of lunar cycles, the calculator of time. One of Thoth's primary functions, measuring and recording time, days, months, years, seasons, cycles. Without time, there's chaos. The Thoth brought order through measurement. Even before we get to specific myths, this is crucial. Thoth is the scribe. Not just a scribe, the scribe. The divine secretary who records everything. He records the words of Ra, the judgments of the gods, the deeds of humans, the movements of stars, the passage of time. Everything. Nothing is forgotten. Everything is written down. This gives Thoth enormous power. He possesses all knowledge because he records all knowledge, and because he knows all words, all names, all formulas. Thoth is the greatest magician. Egyptian magic, Heka, was based on knowledge. Know a thing's true name, and you control it. Know the right words, and you shape reality. Know the correct ritual, and you command gods and demons. Thoth knew everything. Therefore, Thoth was the master of Heka. So, who is Thoth at his core? He is primordial intellect, divine scribe, measurer of time, master magician, keeper of secrets, balance and order personified. But these are abstractions. To understand Thoth, we need to see him in action. We need his stories. And the first story involves the creation of the world itself. Chapter 2. The Creation, Speaking Reality into Existence. Egyptian mythology doesn't have one creation story. It has several, each from different cult centers. But Thoth appears in most of them, always as the voice, the word, the intellectual force. In Heliopolis, the sun cult taught, Atum, the first god, existed alone in the primordial waters, Nun. He was all that existed, everything potential, nothing actual. Atum created the first gods through masturbation. Yes, really. Egyptian mythology is explicit about this. His semen became Shu, air, and Tefnut, moisture. From them came Geb, earth, and Nut, sky. From them came Osiris, Isis, Set, Nephthys, the Ennead, the 9 gods of Heliopolis. Where's Thoth? He's not in the Ennead, but he's there as the Logos, the word by which creation is ordered. When Atum speaks, it's Thoth's power of language that makes speech creative. In Memphis, a different story. Ptah created the world through thought and speech. The Shabaka stone explains, there came into being as the heart, thought, and there came into being as the tongue, speech, something in the form of Atum. Ptah conceives creation in his heart, speaks creation with his tongue, and reality manifests according to his word. Thoth is explicitly called tongue of Ptah. He is the voice, the word, the speech that transforms thought into reality. Ptah is the conceiving mind. Thoth is the spoken word. Together, thought becomes reality. In Hermopolis, Thoth's home, the 8 primordial gods, the Ogdoad, emerged from chaos. These 8 created a mound, the primordial hill, that rose from the waters. On this mound, an egg appeared. Inside, Ra, the sun, or Thoth himself. When the egg hatched, light filled the universe. Thoth, already present, already existing, recorded this first moment. The first act of history was simultaneously its first recording. Across all creation myths, one theme recurs: creation by speech. In Egyptian thought, speech is power. To name something is to bring it into being. To speak a thing's true name is to control it. The right words, correctly spoken, can reshape reality. This is Heka, Egyptian magic. Thoth is the master of Heka because he knows all true names, understands all formulas, invented writing, which preserves words of power, and speaks with absolute precision. According to myth, Thoth invented hieroglyphic writing, alphabetic writing, numbers, astronomy, mathematics, architecture, medicine, magic, music, and drawing. Essentially, all civilized arts. Hieroglyphs weren't just a writing system. They were magical. Each symbol was a picture, visual representation, a sound, phonetic value, a concept, ideographic meaning, and a magical force, symbolic power. Egyptians called hieroglyphs medunetja, words of the gods. This wasn't metaphorical. They believed gods spoke in hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs had inherent power, and writing was magic. Thoth taught hieroglyphs to humans. This made him the patron of scribes, scholars, priests, magicians, anyone who used words. Scribes were elite in Egypt. Literacy rate was about 1% of the population. Scribes ran the bureaucracy, preserved knowledge, performed magic, and connected humans to gods. Scribes would pray to Thoth before writing, "O Thoth, come to me and guide my hand. Make my writing beautiful. Let my words be true. Give me your wisdom." Major temples had a house of life, per ankh, a scriptorium and library, school for scribes, repository of magical texts. Thoth's domain on earth. Thoth was said to have written 42 books containing all knowledge. According to later traditions, these books covered hymns and prayers, cosmology and geography, temple construction and decoration, astronomy and astrology, magic and spells, medicine and healing, law and government, religious mysteries, and then supreme secrets. These books became legendary. Throughout Egyptian history, and later in Greek, Roman, and Islamic periods, people searched for the books of Thoth. Some claimed to find them. Others claimed they were encoded in temple walls. Still others believed they were hidden, waiting to be discovered. Did these 42 books exist? Probably not as discrete volumes, but the tradition reflects Thoth as patron of all knowledge. The Egyptian belief that sacred texts contained ultimate wisdom, and the idea that writing preserves divine knowledge. Thoth's other great gift, the calendar. Before calendars, time was chaotic. When to plant crops, when to expect the Nile flood, how to coordinate religious festivals. Thoth measured the solar year, 365 days, the lunar month, 29.5 days, the day, 24 hours, and the night watches. The Egyptian civil calendar had 12 months of 30 days, 360 days, plus 5 extra days, epagomenal days, total 365 days. This was one of humanity's first solar calendars. Religious festivals followed the moon, Thoth's domain. New moon meant new beginnings. Full moon meant power and completion. Waning moon meant decline and death. Dark moon meant mystery and rebirth. One myth explains the 5 epagomenal days. Ra, angry at Nut, sky goddess, for having an affair with Geb, earth god, cursed her, "You shall not give birth on any day of any month of any year." Since the year was 360 days, this meant never give birth. Thoth challenged Khonsu, another moon god, to a game of Senet, an ancient board game. The stakes, portions of moonlight. Thoth won. From the moonlight, he won, as Thoth created 5 extra days, days that existed outside the normal year. These days weren't part of any month, so Ra's curse didn't apply. On these 5 days, Nut gave birth to Osiris, Horus the Elder, Set, Isis, and Nephthys. This myth shows Thoth as clever problem solver, master of time, helper of other gods, and bringer of cosmic balance. By now, Thoth's role is clear. He is the cosmic accountant, the divine calculator, the one who measures, records, and maintains order. But his greatest role is yet to come. His role in the afterlife, where every human soul must face his judgment. Chapter 3: The Osiris Myth, Thoth, and the Resurrection. To understand Thoth's role in the afterlife, we need to know the story of Osiris, Egypt's most important myth. Osiris was king of Egypt, the first pharaoh, the bringer of civilization. Not he taught humans agriculture, law, religion, and civilized living. With his sister wife Isis, he ruled in peace and prosperity. But Osiris's brother Set was jealous. Set represented chaos, the desert, violence, and storms, while Osiris represented order, the fertile land, peace, and life. Set plotted to kill Osiris. He built a beautiful coffin, perfectly sized, for Osiris. At a feast, Set announced, "Whoever fits in this coffin can keep it." When Osiris lay down in the coffin, it fit perfectly. Set had measured. Set and his conspirators slammed the lid shut, nailed it, sealed it with lead, and threw it in the Nile. Isis searched desperately for her husband's body. She found the coffin in Byblos, Lebanon, brought it back to Egypt, and hid it. But Set discovered it. In rage, Set tore Osiris's body into 14 pieces, some versions say 42, and scattered them across Egypt. Isis, with her sister Nephthys, searched for every piece. They found 13 pieces. The 14th, Osiris's phallus, had been eaten by a fish. Here's where Thoth enters the story. Isis needed to resurrect Osiris, but she didn't know how. Thoth provided the magical formulas. He taught Isis the words of power to reassemble the body, the incantations to restore life, and the rituals to transform Osiris into an immortal. Using Thoth's magic, Isis reassembled Osiris's body, created a prosthetic phallus from gold or wax, spoke the words of power, and brought Osiris back to life, but transformed. Osiris didn't return to the living world. Instead, he became lord of the underworld, Duat, judge of the dead, and king of the afterlife. And before Osiris departed to the underworld, Isis, in the form of a bird, conceived a son. That son was Horus. In some versions, Thoth gave Isis a book of magic to accomplish the resurrection. This book of Thoth contained the true names of all things, formulas to control life and death, words that could resurrect the dead, and ultimate magical power. This myth establishes several crucial points. Thoth knows magic that even gods don't know. He teaches it when necessary to maintain cosmic order, Ma'at. Thoth aids the righteous. He helps Isis because Osiris was murdered unjustly. Isis seeks to restore order, and the resurrection serves Ma'at. Thoth bridges life and death. His magic can resurrect the dead, transform mortals to immortals, and navigate between worlds. After Osiris's death, Set claimed the throne of Egypt. But Horus, Osiris's son, raised by Isis, challenged Set's right to rule. The gods convened to decide who should rule Egypt. Set argued he was older, stronger, and defended Ra's solar boat against Apophis the Chaos Serpent. Horus argued he was Osiris's rightful heir. Osiris was the legitimate king, and the throne passes father to son. Thoth served as scribe of the proceedings, advisor to Ra, and voice of reason and balance. For 80 years in divine time, Horus and Set competed in boat races, fighting as hippos underwater, various magical duels, and many other contests. At one point, Set tore out Horus's eye. Thoth restored it using magic, reassembling it piece by piece. This became the Eye of Horus, Wadjet, one of Egypt's most powerful protective symbols. Finally, after decades of contests, Ra and the assembled gods rendered judgment. Thoth, speaking for the divine council, declared, "Horus is justified. He is the rightful heir. Let him receive the throne of his father." Horus became king of Egypt, the living world. Osiris remained king of the Duat, the realm of the dead. Set was exiled to the desert, where he protected Ra's boat. This myth shows Thoth as mediator of divine disputes, voice of law and reason, restorer of what was broken, and upholder of rightful inheritance. Horus is justified became crucial. In Egyptian, Osiris is justified, applied to all deceased. This phrase meant the person lived according to Ma'at and deserves eternal life. It was always Thoth who declared someone justified, because Thoth recorded their deeds, weighed their heart, calculated the verdict, and spoke the judgment. And this brings us to Thoth's most important role, the role that every Egyptian both feared and hoped for. His role in the Hall of Judgment, where every soul's fate was decided. Act 2. The Judgment and the Magic, Chapter 4. The Weighing of the Heart. Thoth in the Hall of Judgment. When an Egyptian died, their journey was just beginning. The body was mummified to preserve it, but the soul had to navigate the Duat, the underworld, to reach the Hall of Judgment. The Duat was dark and dangerous, full of demons and monsters, a labyrinth of trials, guarded by gates and guardians. To navigate the Duat, the deceased needed knowledge. This knowledge was written in funerary texts, pyramid texts in the Old Kingdom, coffin texts in the Middle Kingdom, and the Book of the Dead in the New Kingdom. These texts contained maps of the Duat, names of guardians, passwords to pass gates, spells for protection, and declarations of innocence. Egyptians believed Thoth wrote these texts. Every spell, every formula, every word. Thoth's wisdom. The most important spell, number 125, the weighing of the heart. After surviving the Duat, the soul enters the Hall of Two Truths, Ma'ati. This is the Judgment Hall. Present in the hall, Osiris seated on throne, wrapped in mummy bandages, holding crook and flail. 42 assessor gods lined along the walls, each judging specific sins. Ma'at, goddess of truth and order, or represented by her feather. Anubis, the jackal-headed god who operates the scale. Ammit, the devourer, part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus, waiting to eat the unjustified heart. And Thoth, standing beside the scale, with his palette and pen. First, the deceased must recite the negative confession, a list of sins they claim not to have committed. I have not killed. I have not stolen. I have not told lies. I have not had sexual relations with a married person. I have not made anyone weep. I have not caused pain. I have not caused terror. And 35 more declarations. Each of the 42 assessor gods judges one specific sin. The deceased must address each god by their secret name. O long strider, who comes from Heliopolis, I have not done falsehood. O fire embracer, who comes from Keraha, I have not robbed. O nosy, who comes from Hermopolis, I have not been covetous, and so on. After the confession, the actual judgment, Anubis places the deceased's heart on one side of a scale. On the other side, the feather of Ma'at. The heart represents the person's conscience, their deeds in life, their character, their truth. The feather represents perfect truth, perfect order, perfect justice, perfect lightness, freedom from sin. If the heart is lighter than or equal to the feather, the person lived according to Ma'at. They are justified. They may enter the field of reeds, paradise. If the heart is heavier than the feather, the person sinned. They are not justified. Their heart is thrown to Amit. Amit, the devourer of the dead, waits beneath the scale. Part crocodile, aggressive, part lion, powerful, part hippopotamus, dangerous. If the heart is heavy with sin, Amit devours it. This is the second death, complete annihilation. Not punishment in hell, not reincarnation, nothing, complete non-existence. For Egyptians, this was the ultimate terror. And Thoth, he records everything. Thoth stands beside the scale, with his palette, his reed pen, his papyrus scroll. He watches the scale. He calculates the exact weight. He records the verdict. When the weighing is complete, Thoth announces the result. If justified, Osiris, deceased's name, is true of voice. Their heart is found to be in balance. Let them enter the field of reeds. If not justified, Osiris, deceased's name, is not justified. Let Amit have them. Thoth's declaration is final. Not even Osiris overrules Thoth. Why? Because Thoth is impartial. No emotions cloud his judgment. Precise, he measures exactly. Knowledgeable, he recorded all their deeds. Truthful, he cannot lie. After the weighing, Thoth formally reports to Osiris. From the Book of the Dead, Thoth, the twice great lord of Hermopolis, and says, I have judged the heart of the deceased, and his soul stands as a witness for him. His deeds have been weighed in the great balance, and no fault has been found in him. He has not diminished the offerings in the temples. He has not done evil, and he has not circulated slander while he was on earth. This role made Thoth terrifyingly important. While alive, Egyptians knew Thoth is watching. Thoth is recording. Thoth will judge. Nothing is forgotten. This created moral weight. Live according to Ma'at, because your deeds are recorded, your heart will be weighed, Thoth cannot be fooled, and truth will be revealed. In death, Thoth was both hope and fear. Hope, if you lived justly, Thoth will declare you justified. Fear, if you sinned, Thoth will reveal it. But there were loopholes. A heart scarab, inscribed with spell 30b from the Book of the Dead, was placed on the mummy. The spell commanded the heart, O my heart of my mother, do not stand up against me as a witness. Do not oppose me in the tribunal. Do not rebel against me before the keeper of the balance. This spell tried to prevent the heart from testifying against its owner. Essentially, heart, don't snitch on me to Thoth. Did it work? Egyptians believed it might, if you'd lived well enough. But if you'd lived badly, no amulet could fool Thoth. Another spell addressed Amit directly. Fall down, Amit. You shall not approach me, for I live on truth and feed on truth. I am Thoth. The deceased claims to be Thoth, identifying with the god of truth to gain protection. This was common in Egyptian magic. By identifying with a god, you could access their power. When I am Thoth means I partake of Thoth's nature, which means I am true. But this creates a paradox. If you need to use this spell, you're probably not actually true. If you're actually true, you don't need the spell. Egyptians weren't troubled by this. Magic was insurance. Better to have spells and not need them than need them and not have them. For those who pass the judgment, the field of reeds, Aru, paradise, a perfect version of Egypt with abundant harvests, no pain or suffering, eternal peace, reunion with loved ones, and communion with the gods. The justified dead would farm perfect fields, feast eternally, serve Osiris, enjoy pleasures, practice magic, and achieve perfection. Even in paradise, Thoth remained important. He continued recording, taught the blessed dead, revealed secrets, and granted wisdom. The justified dead became Ak, effective spirit. They were called Osiris name, identified with the god. They could move between worlds, help living descendants, and were semi-divine themselves. Let's step back and see Thoth's complete role. Before death, records your deeds while you live, teaches moral law, provides magical knowledge. At death, guides you through the duat, weighs your heart, declares the verdict. After judgment, grants access to paradise, continues teaching in the afterlife, maintains cosmic records. Thoth determines who achieves immortality and who faces annihilation. In a culture obsessed with the afterlife, this made Thoth perhaps the most important god. But Thoth's role wasn't just about judgment. He was also the master of magic, Heka, the fundamental force of the universe. Let's explore Thoth as the greatest magician. Chapter 5. The Books of Thoth, Magic, Mystery, and Forbidden Knowledge. Throughout Egyptian history, legends spoke of the Books of Thoth, texts containing ultimate magical power and forbidden knowledge. Many searched for them. Few claimed to find them. Their influence echoed through millennia. The Books of Thoth supposedly contained the true names of all things, the words to control gods, the formulas to control nature, the secrets of life and death, and the structure of reality itself. Different sources give different numbers. 42 books, matching the 42 assessor gods. 36,525 books. One for each day of 100 years, or one supreme book containing all knowledge. Kings, priests, and magicians searched for these books throughout Egyptian history. Why? Because the books granted immortality, ultimate power, divine knowledge, and control over reality. One tale illustrates the danger of the books. The story of Prince Setna. Prince Setna, Kemweset, son of Rameses II, was a historical figure, a legendary magician, a seeker of knowledge, and too curious for his own good. Setna learned of a book of Thoth, buried in a tomb at Memphis. This book contained 2 spells of ultimate power. The first spell, understand all animals and birds. The second spell, see all the gods and secrets of the netherworld. Setna found the tomb of Naneferkaptah, a prince who had found the book long ago. Inside, Naneferkaptah's ghost, his wife's ghost, and their child's ghost, all killed by the power of the book. Naneferkaptah's ghost warned Setna, "Do not take this book. It has destroyed my family." Thoth himself cursed us for stealing his knowledge. Setna ignored the warning and took the book. Immediately, curses befell Setna. He fell in love with an evil sorceress. She manipulated him into killing his own children. She humiliated him publicly. He was stripped of everything. Finally, Setna realized everything was an illusion created by the book's power. His children were alive. The sorceress wasn't real, but the lesson was clear. Some knowledge is too dangerous, even for princes, even for magicians. Thoth's knowledge can destroy those who aren't worthy. Setna returned the book to the tomb with proper offerings and apologies. This story shows that books of Thoth were legendary even in ancient Egypt, are real enough that people search for them. Dangerous, power corrupts, and Thoth guards his secrets. When Greeks controlled Egypt after Alexander's conquest in 332 BCE, they encountered Thoth and transformed him. Greeks saw Thoth and said, "This is Hermes." Both were messengers, guides of the dead, gods of writing, and associated with wisdom. This created Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great Hermes, a syncretic deity combining Egyptian Thoth, twice great, Greek Hermes, plus additional greatness. Why thrice great? Several explanations. Thoth was already twice great. Adding Greek admiration made him thrice great. Great as philosopher, priest, and king. Great in heaven, earth, and underworld. Or the third greatness came from combination with Hermes. During the Hellenistic period, one Alexandria became the intellectual capital of the Mediterranean, home to the Library of Alexandria, center of philosophy, science, and mysticism, and a melting pot of cultures. In Alexandria, mystical circles formed that studied Egyptian mysteries, combined with Greek philosophy, added elements of Judaism, and created a syncretic wisdom tradition. Between 100 and 300 CE, texts appeared attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the first and most important treatise, the Poimandres. Hermes receives a vision from Poimandres, shepherd of men, the divine know, or mind. Poimandres reveals how the cosmos was created, the nature of God, the origin of humanity, and the path to salvation. Similar to Genesis, but with Platonic and Egyptian elements, God the One exists. God generates the nous, divine mind, which is Thoth. The nous creates the cosmos through the logos, word. Humanity falls from divine realm into matter. Through gnosis, knowledge, humans can return to divinity. Central teaching: salvation comes through knowledge, not faith, not works. Knowledge, direct experiential understanding of divine reality. After death, the soul ascends through planetary spheres. Each sphere strips away a negative trait. Moon, growth and decay. Mercury, cunning. Venus, passion. Sun, pride. Mars, aggression. Jupiter, greed. Saturn, falsehood. Finally, pure soul reunites with the divine. Notice, this is Thoth's afterlife journey transformed. Instead of hall of judgment, planetary ascent. Instead of weighing heart, shedding passions. Instead of Osiris, union with the One. But still, journey guided by divine wisdom, Thoth, now as Hermes. Thus the most famous Hermetic text, the Emerald Tablet, claimed to be found in Thoth's tomb, in a cave in Tyana, or revealed by angels, actually written in the medieval period, 8th to 12th century CE, probably Arabic origin. Short cryptic text revealing alchemical secrets. True, without falsehood, certain, and most true. That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. Key phrase, as above, so below, means macrocosm mirrors microcosm. Heaven reflects earth. The divine is in the material. Understanding one reveals the other. This became foundational to alchemy, spiritual transformation, astrology, celestial influences earthly, magic, above influences below, and mysticism, divine in human. Alchemy claimed Hermetic origins. Alchemy wasn't just making gold, though that too. It was spiritual transformation. Lead to gold equals soul to spirit. Base matter to pure matter equals human to divine. Chemical process equals spiritual process. Alchemists considered Hermes Trismegistus the inventor of alchemy, revealer of prima materia, author of foundational texts, and their spiritual patron. Alchemical vessels were hermetically sealed, named after Hermes. This term entered common language. Hermetic texts contained astrology. Planets influence earthly events. Each planet has specific qualities. Through understanding planets, control destiny. Talismans capture planetary forces. Thoth, as Hermes, was credited with inventing astrology, teaching planetary movements, revealing astrological secrets, and showing how to use astral magic. During the Islamic Golden Age, 8th to 13th centuries, Islamic scholars translated Hermetic texts, philosophical works, alchemical treatises, astrological manuals, and magical grimoires. The Sabians of Harran in Turkey preserved Hermetic traditions, claimed descent from Hermes, practiced astral magic, and influenced Islamic esotericism. Through Arabic translations, Hermeticism reached medieval Europe via Spain, Islamic Spain, Sicily, Crusader contacts, and trade routes. When Cosimo de' Medici obtained the Corpus Hermeticum manuscript in 1460, Renaissance scholars believed they'd discovered ancient wisdom predating Greeks, Egyptian mysteries, Prisca Theologia, original theology, and the secrets of creation. Marsilio Ficino translated the corpus into Latin, made it accessible to Europeans, wrote commentaries, thus integrated it with Platonism, and created Christian Hermeticism. Renaissance thinkers combined Hermeticism, Egyptian wisdom, Platonism, Greek philosophy, Christianity, biblical revelation, and Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, creating a grand synthesis, the Hermetic Platonic tradition. Hermetic ideas influenced natural magic, early science, and philosophy. Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy synthesized all magical knowledge with Hermetic principles throughout. Early scientists were influenced. Paracelsus, medicine and alchemy; John Dee, mathematics and magic; Isaac Newton, alchemy and physics; Robert Boyle, chemistry. The line between science and magic was blurry. In the early 17th century, mysterious Rosicrucian manifestos appeared claiming a secret brotherhood of mystics founded by Christian Rosenkreutz who possessed ancient wisdom, Hermetic and alchemical knowledge, and would reform Christianity and society. Did the Rosicrucians exist? Probably not as a formal organization, but the manifestos sparked Hermetic revival, alchemical interest, mystical movements, and secret societies. Freemasonry, emerging in the 17th and 18th centuries, incorporated Hermetic elements, Egyptian symbolism, Hermetic philosophy, alchemical imagery, and initiatory mysteries. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, 1887 to 1903, synthesized Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Egyptian mythology, tarot, astrology, alchemy, and ceremonial magic into one comprehensive magical system. The Golden Dawn influenced Aleister Crowley, Thelema, Adion Fortune, modern paganism, Israel Regardie, magical revival, modern Wicca, and contemporary occultism. Today, Thoth appears in ceremonial magic, invoked in rituals associated with Mercury, patron of magicians, tarot, Crowley's Thoth Tarot, and other Egyptian-themed decks, channeling, New Age channels claim contact with Thoth, and ancient alien theories. Some claim Thoth was extraterrestrial. Why does Thoth persist as Hermes? Because he represents hidden knowledge, ancient wisdom, power through understanding, the mystical tradition, and the bridge between human and divine. Thoth is the wise old man archetype, possesses secret knowledge, teaches initiates, guards mysteries, and reveals truth to worthy seekers. This archetype is timeless. We've traced Thoth from ancient Egypt to modern occultism. A 5,000-year journey. But what was his role in the daily religious life of ancient Egyptians? Let's look at Thoth's festivals, temples, and worship. Chapter 6. Worship of the Moon God. Thoth's temples and festivals. Thoth wasn't just mythology. He was actively worshipped throughout Egyptian history, with temples, festivals, and daily rituals. Thoth had cult centers across Egypt, but three were most important. Hermopolis Magna, ancient name Kmun, city of eight; Greek name Hermopolis, city of Hermes; modern name El Ashmunin. This was Thoth's primary cult center, site of the primordial mound where the cosmic egg hatched, center of the Ogdoad theology, major pilgrimage destination. The Great Temple of Thoth was a massive complex, mostly ruined now, that housed sacred ibises and baboons, had an extensive library. The House of Life was a center of scribal education and served as a repository of magical texts. At Hermopolis, sacred ibises were bred and venerated. Sacred baboons were kept and mummified. When these animals died, they were mummified and buried with honors. Millions of ibis mummies have been found in nearby catacombs. The Tuna el Gebel necropolis near Hermopolis, an underground catacomb, contains thousands of ibis mummies, baboon mummies, other sacred animals, and offerings to Thoth. This shows the scale of Thoth worship. A second Hermopolis in the Nile Delta was a smaller cult center also dedicated to Thoth, important in Lower Egypt. In the western desert at Dakhla Oasis, the Temple of Thoth at Kelis was a center for remote communities, linking Thoth to desert and moon imagery. Yet the high priest at Hermopolis was titled Greatest of Seers, emphasizing Thoth as god of knowledge, priests as Thoth's representatives, and vision and insight as priestly qualities. Thoth had several major festivals. The Festival of Thoth, annual celebration on the first day of the year, included processions with Thoth's statue, offerings of papyrus and writing materials, scribal competitions, astronomical observations, and renewal rituals. The New Moon Festival, a monthly celebration at each new moon, honored Thoth as lunar god, marking time's passage with offerings and prayers for beginnings and fresh starts. The Tek Festival, the festival of drunkenness, had a Thoth aspect. After the festival of Hathor, goddess of love and drunkenness, Thoth would appear to restore order. This symbolized chaos, Hathor's drunkenness, and order, Thoth's wisdom, balance between extremes. Proper offerings to Thoth included writing materials, papyrus scrolls, reed pens, ink cakes, black and red, and scribal palettes. These emphasized Thoth's role as scribe and writing patron. Standard temple offerings included bread, beer, meat, vegetables, and incense. Also, ibis and baboon imagery, images of sacred animals, amulets, statues, and dedications. Scribe's prayer to Thoth. Come to me, Thoth, O noble ibis, O god who loves Hermopolis, O letter writer of the Ennead, great one who dwells in Hermopolis. Come to me that you may give counsel and make me skillful in your calling. More beautiful is your calling than all other callings. It makes great men. He who is expert in it is found fit to hold office. Hymns praising Thoth from various papyri. Hail to you, Thoth, self-created, not born of mother nor begotten of father, Lord of justice and truth, inventor of hieroglyphs, maker of speech, Lord of divine books. O Thoth, you distinguish true from false. You judge between the two combatants. You drive away evil and cast down criminals. You rescue the righteous. Lord of Ma'at, Heart of Ra, tongue of Ptah, your words create, your knowledge encompasses all things. Daily temple rituals included the morning ritual, opening the naos, shrine, awakening Thoth's statue, washing and dressing the statue, presenting offerings, burning incense, and reciting hymns. The evening ritual included final offerings, sealing the naos, protection spells, and ensuring the temple's safety through the night. Thoth's temples served as observatories. Priests observed moon phases, Thoth's primary domain, star movements, planetary positions, eclipses, and solstices and equinoxes. These observations served religious calendar coordination, astrological predictions, agricultural planning, magical timing, and cosmic order verification. Thoth's temples housed scribal schools. Students learned reading and writing hieroglyphs, mathematics, astronomy, geometry, medicine, magic, religious texts, and administration. Students began as children, age 5 to 10, studied for years, copied texts endlessly, memorized formulas, practiced calculations, and learned ritual procedures. Successful students became royal scribes, temple scribes, military scribes, administrative scribes, magician priests, or physicians. Major temples had Per Ankh, House of Life, which functioned as library and archive, scriptorium, copying center, school, medical center, magical workshop, and repository of secret knowledge. Houses of Life contained religious texts, medical papyri, magical spells, astronomical records, mathematical treatises, literary works, and administrative documents. Some knowledge was restricted: advanced magic, true names of gods, royal rituals, and dangerous spells. Only initiated priests could access these texts. Thoth was invoked for protection against evil, repelling demons, warding off disease, protecting against curses, and defending against enemies. For knowledge, aid in learning, understanding, memory, and eloquence. For justice, in legal disputes, for fair judgment, against false accusations, and for vindication. The common Thoth amulets included the ibis, small ibis figurines worn for protection, wisdom, good luck, and aid in writing and scholarship. The palette, scribal palettes inscribed with prayers to Thoth, were both functional tools and sacred objects. The Eye of Horus, since Thoth restored Horus's eye, the Wadjet eye was associated with healing, wholeness, and Thoth's magical power. As Egypt's political power declined, so did Thoth's temples. The Persian conquest in 525 BCE brought temple funding reduced, some temples closed, and religious practices restricted. But Thoth worship continued. Greek rule from 332 to 30 BCE brought renewed attention. Greeks identified Thoth with Hermes. Hermopolis remained important. Hermeticism emerged. Syncretism flourished. Roman rule from 30 BCE to 395 CE saw traditional religion continue, but Christianity rising, pagan temples gradually closed, and knowledge preserved by priests. In 391 CE, Emperor Theodosius I ordered closure of pagan temples. The last priests preserved what they could, hid sacred texts, passed knowledge orally, and some may have encoded secrets in architecture. The last hieroglyphic inscription was written at Philae in 394 CE. It was a prayer to Thoth. The last words written in the sacred script that Thoth invented were addressed to Thoth himself. Thoth invented writing. Writing preserved Egyptian civilization. The last use of that writing honored Thoth. Full circle. Thoth's temples fell silent. His festivals ended. His priests died or converted. But Thoth didn't disappear. He transformed, adapted, and re-emerged in new forms, continuing to influence Western thought and magic to the present day. And Act 3, The Legacy. Chapter 7, Thoth in Comparative Mythology. Thoth wasn't unique. Many cultures have similar divine figures, wise gods, tricksters, psychopomps, and scribes. Let's explore Thoth's parallels across world mythology. Most obvious parallel, the Greek Hermes. Both were messengers of the gods, guides of the dead, psychopomps, associated with travel and boundaries, patrons of merchants, connected to magic and trickery, inventors of writing and communication, and associated with cleverness. Hermes was more mischievous and trickster-like, god of thieves, younger and more athletic, less cosmic and philosophical. Thoth was more serious and scholarly, god of scribes, older and more measured, more cosmic and fundamental. Romans equated Hermes with Mercury, messenger god, commerce and trade, thieves and travelers, and communication. But Mercury lacked Thoth's depth as cosmic measurer and afterlife judge. The Babylonian and Assyrian god Nabu shares traits with Thoth. Both were god of writing and scribes, keeper of divine records, associated with wisdom, had a stylus as symbol, and recorded destinies. Nabu was more bureaucratic, less magical, more focused on earthly writing, and less cosmic. In Mesopotamian myth, the tablets of destiny recorded all fates. Various gods possessed them, similar to Thoth's recording of destinies. The earlier Sumerian goddess Nisaba was goddess of writing, patron of scribes, keeper of accounts, and associated with wisdom. She possibly influenced later Nabu, and through trade routes, influenced Thoth concepts. Surprising parallel. The Norse Odin, the All-Father. Both were god of wisdom, Sun associated with magic, Odin with cedar, Thoth with Heka, sought knowledge obsessively, sacrificed for wisdom. Odin his eye and hanging, Thoth self-creation. Associated with ravens, intelligence like ibis, psychopomp, Valkyries as Odin's messengers like Thoth guiding dead, and master of runes like hieroglyphs. Odin was a warrior god, more chaotic, willing to break oaths and associated with battle madness. Thoth was a peaceful god, more orderly, upholder of Mayat, cosmic order, and associated with measured thought. The Irish god Ogma invented Ogham's script. Celtic alphabet, was god of eloquence, associated with wisdom and learning, and guided souls, possibly. Less developed than Thoth, but similar archetype. The Hindu elephant-headed god Ganesha shares some traits. Remover of obstacles, patron of arts and sciences, unassociated with writing, invoked before undertakings, and keeper of knowledge. Ganesha is more accessible and beloved, less cosmic, more focused on practical help, and associated with prosperity. The Taoist god of literature and scholars, Wenchang Wang, was patron of scholars and students, associated with examinations, rewarded merit, and connected to education. Similar function in Chinese culture to Thoth in Egyptian. The Mayan deity Adzib was god of writing, patron of scribes, and associated with learning. Less developed in surviving records. Common archetype across cultures. A deity who invented or taught writing, possessed special knowledge, patronized scholars and scribes, recorded important information, was often involved with the afterlife, and was associated with magic and wisdom. Why this archetype? Yes, pre-literate societies encountering writing saw it as magical, marks that speak, powerful, preserves knowledge across time, and divine, must have come from gods. Scribes were an elite class, keepers of power, had access to knowledge, and were intermediaries between rulers and gods. Natural to have divine patron. Many cultures viewed knowledge as divine gift, requiring protection, needing proper transmission, and connected to cosmic order. Many wisdom gods have trickster traits. Thoth, sometimes. Hermes, definitely. Odin, absolutely. Anansi, African spider god. Loki, Norse, and Coyote, Native American. Why? Wisdom and trickery connect because both require cleverness, both involve seeing through illusions, both challenge conventional thinking, and both operate through knowledge and words. And Thoth had trickster aspects, tricked Khonsu to gain 5 extra days, used clever wordplay, solved problems through wit, and sometimes bent rules. But he was more measured than pure tricksters like Loki or Anansi. Many cultures have gods who guide the dead. Thoth, Egypt. Hermes, Greece. Anubis, Egypt, different role than Thoth. Charon, Greek ferryman. Valkyries, Norse, and Xolotl, Aztec. Why necessary? The afterlife journey is dangerous and confusing. Souls need guides who know the way, can protect, understand the rules, and have authority with death deities. What makes Thoth unique? Most gods combine 2 to 3 functions. Thoth combines creator, self-created, spoke creation, scribe, inventor of writing, measurer, time, moon, math, magician, master of Heka, judge, weighing hearts, psychopomp, guide to afterlife, and cosmic regulator, maintains Ma'at. This is an unusually comprehensive portfolio. Thoth isn't just one aspect of reality. He is the organizing principle. Language, naming equals bringing into being. Mathematics, measurement equals understanding. Time, ordering events. Truth, weighing equals judging. And knowledge, recording equals preserving. Egyptian theology used Thoth to explore. How does consciousness create reality? Self-creation. How does language relate to existence? Divine words. How is order maintained? Cosmic accounting. What is truth? Weighing hearts. How is knowledge transmitted? Writing. Modern thinkers see Thoth as representing different concepts. Carl Jung might interpret Thoth as the logos archetype, masculine principle of word and order, animus, intellect in the unconscious, and the self, organizing center. Modern perspective. Thoth represents information itself. Recording equals data storage. Weighing equals data processing. Speaking equals data transmission. Knowledge equals accumulated information. Some see Thoth as self-aware consciousness, the observer principle in quantum mechanics, and the logos organizing chaos into cosmos. Thoth's influence didn't end with ancient Egypt. He transformed into Hermes Trismegistus and became foundational to Western esotericism, influencing alchemy, magic, and mysticism for 2,000 years. Let's trace that influence. Chapter 8. The Hermetic Tradition, Thoth's Transformation. When Alexander the Great conquered Egypt in 332 BCE, 2 cultures collided. Greek rationalism met Egyptian mysticism. Now from this collision emerged Hermeticism, one of the most influential esoteric traditions in Western history. The Ptolemaic dynasty, Alexander's successors, ruled Egypt for 300 years. During this period, Greek philosophers studied Egyptian religion. Egyptian priests learned Greek philosophy. ideas cross-pollinated, and syncretism flourished. Greeks saw Thoth and said, "This is Hermes." Both were messengers, guides of dead, gods of writing, and associated with wisdom. But they added something: Trismegistus, thrice great. Why thrice great? Several explanations. Thoth was already twice great. Adding Greek admiration made him thrice great. Great as philosopher, priest, and king. Great in heaven, earth, and underworld. Or the third greatness came from combination with Hermes. During the Hellenistic period, 323 to 31 BCE, Alexandria became the intellectual capital of the Mediterranean, home to the Library of Alexandria, center of philosophy, science, and mysticism, and a melting pot of cultures. In Alexandria, mystical circles formed that studied Egyptian mysteries, combined with Greek philosophy, added elements of Judaism, and created syncretic wisdom tradition. Between 100 and 300 CE, texts appeared attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. The first and most important treatise, the Poimandres. Hermes receives a vision from Poimandres, shepherd of men, the divine nous, mind. Poimandres reveals how the cosmos was created, the nature of God, the origin of humanity, and the path to salvation. Similar to Genesis but with Platonic and Egyptian elements, God, the One, exists. God generates the nous, divine mind. Thoth. The nous creates the cosmos through the logos, word. Humanity falls from divine realm into matter. Through gnosis, knowledge, humans can return to divinity. Central teaching. Salvation comes through knowledge. Not faith like Christianity, not works like Judaism, knowledge, direct experiential understanding of divine reality. After death, the soul ascends through planetary spheres. Each sphere strips away a negative trait. Moon, growth and decay. Mercury, cunning. Venus, passion. Sun, pride. Mars, aggression. Jupiter, greed. Saturn, falsehood. Finally, pure soul reunites with the divine. Notice, this is Thoth's afterlife journey transformed. Instead of hall of judgment, planetary ascent. Instead of weighing heart, shedding passions. Instead of Osiris, union with the One. But still, journey guided by divine wisdom. Thoth, now as Hermes. The most famous Hermetic text, the Emerald Tablet, claimed to be found in Thoth's tomb, in a cave in Tyana, or revealed by angels, actually written in medieval period, 8th to 12th century CE, probably Arabic origin. Short, cryptic text revealing alchemical secrets. True, without falsehood, certain, and most true. That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. Key phrase, as above, so below, means macrocosm, mirrors microcosm. Heaven reflects earth. The divine is in the material. Understanding one reveals the other. This became foundational to alchemy, spiritual transformation, astrology, celestial influences earthly, magic, above influences below, and mysticism, divine in human. Alchemy claimed Hermetic origins. No, alchemy wasn't just making gold, though that too. It was spiritual transformation. Lead to gold equals soul to spirit. Base matter to pure matter equals human to divine. Chemical process equals spiritual process. Alchemists considered Hermes Trismegistus the inventor of alchemy, revealer of prima materia, author of foundational texts, and their spiritual patron. Alchemical vessels were hermetically sealed, named after Hermes. This term entered common language. Hermetic texts contained astrology. Planets influence earthly events. Each planet has specific qualities. Through understanding planets, control destiny. Talismans capture planetary forces. Thoth, as Hermes, was credited with inventing astrology, teaching planetary movements, revealing astrological secrets, and showing how to use astral magic. And during the Islamic Golden Age, 8th to 13th centuries, Islamic scholars translated Hermetic texts, philosophical works, alchemical treatises, astrological manuals, and magical grimoires. The Sabians of Harran in Turkey preserved Hermetic traditions, claimed descent from Hermes, practiced astral magic, and influenced Islamic esotericism. Through Arabic translations, Hermeticism reached medieval Europe via Spain, Islamic Spain, Sicily, Crusader contacts, and trade routes. When Cosimo de' Medici obtained the Corpus Hermeticum manuscript in 1460, Renaissance scholars believed they discovered ancient wisdom predating Greeks, Egyptian mysteries, Prisca Theologia, original theology, and the secrets of creation. Marsilio Ficino translated the corpus into Latin, made it accessible to Europeans, wrote commentaries, integrated with Platonism. Nazan created Christian Hermeticism. Renaissance thinkers combined Hermeticism, Egyptian wisdom, Platonism, Greek philosophy, Christianity, biblical revelation, and Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, creating a grand synthesis, the Hermetic Platonic tradition. Hermetic ideas influenced natural magic. Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy synthesized all magical knowledge with Hermetic principles throughout. Early scientists were influenced. Paracelsus, medicine and alchemy, John Dee, mathematics and magic, Isaac Newton, alchemy and physics, Robert Boyle, chemistry. The line between science and magic was blurry. Philosophers were influenced. Giordano Bruno, Hermetic cosmology, Tommaso Campanella, natural magic, and many others. In early 17th century, a mysterious Rosicrucian manifestos appeared claiming a secret brotherhood of mystics founded by Christian Rosenkreutz, possessing ancient wisdom, Hermetic and alchemical knowledge, and intending to reform Christianity and society. Did the Rosicrucians exist? Probably not as a formal organization, but the manifestos sparked Hermetic revival, alchemical interest, mystical movements, and secret societies. Freemasonry, emerging 17th to 18th centuries, incorporated Hermetic elements. Egyptian symbolism, Hermetic philosophy, alchemical imagery, and initiatory mysteries. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, 1887 to 1903, synthesized Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Egyptian mythology, tarot, astrology, alchemy, and ceremonial magic into one comprehensive magical system. The Golden Dawn influenced Aleister Crowley, Thelema, Dion Fortune, modern paganism, Israel Regardie, magical revival, modern Wicca, and contemporary occultism. Today, Thoth appears in ceremonial magic, invoked in rituals, associated with Mercury, patron of magicians, source of grimoires, tarot, Crowley's Thoth Tarot, other Egyptian-themed decks, Hermetic tarot interpretations, channeling. New Age channels claim contact with Thoth, messages about ascension, consciousness, ancient knowledge, and ancient aliens theories. Some claim Thoth was extraterrestrial, built pyramids, taught advanced technology, will return. These theories lack evidence but remain popular. Why does Thoth persist as Hermes? Because he represents hidden knowledge, ancient wisdom, power through understanding. the mystical tradition, and bridge between human and divine. Thoth is the wise old man archetype, possesses secret knowledge, and teaches initiates, guards mysteries, and reveals truth to worthy seekers. This archetype is timeless. We've traced Thoth from ancient Egypt to modern occultism, a 5,000-year journey. But what does Thoth mean? What lessons does his mythology teach? Let's explore Thoth's deeper significance. Chapter 9. The meaning of Thoth. Philosophy, symbolism, and significance. After 2 hours exploring Thoth's mythology, history, and influence, we need to ask, what does it all mean? What is Thoth really about? On the surface, Thoth is god of wisdom, inventor of writing, measurer of time, judge of the dead, and master of magic. But these are functions. What's the deeper meaning? Thoth represents the Logos. Logos is a Greek philosophical concept meaning word, reason, order, organizing principle, and rational structure of reality. And Thoth embodies Logos because he speaks creation into being, creative word, organizes chaos through measurement, rational order, names things, linguistic structure, records reality, preserving order, and judges truth, determining what is. This connects to profound questions. How does language create reality? Thoth mythology explores this. To name something is to bring it into conceptual existence. Words organize raw experience into structured reality. Language allows thinking, which shapes perception. Therefore, language, Thoth, creates the world we experience. Modern philosophy rediscovered this. Wittgenstein said, "The limits of my language are the limits of my world." The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis proposes language shapes thought and perception. Postmodern linguistics suggests reality is linguistically constructed. Yes, Thoth mythology anticipated these ideas by 5,000 years. Thoth, as self-created god who speaks himself into being, addresses the paradox of consciousness. How can something create itself? This is the paradox of consciousness. Consciousness observes reality, but consciousness is part of reality. So consciousness observes itself. Consciousness is self-referential. Thoth's self-creation myth is a metaphor for consciousness. Consciousness emerges from the void. None. It recognizes itself, self-awareness. It names itself, I am, thus bringing itself fully into being. Some see parallels to quantum mechanics. Observer affects observed. Measurement creates definite states. Consciousness collapses wave function. Controversial interpretation. Thoth as cosmic observer and measurer. Thoth as measurer of time raises the question, does time exist without measurement? Philosophically ambiguous. Physical time exists, entropy, causation. But experiential time requires consciousness. And structured time, calendars, clocks, requires intelligence. Thoth transforms raw temporal flow into structured time, duration into measurable units, chaos into calendar, and process into history. Without measurement, events blur together. Thoth creates discrete moments. Thoth's invention of writing was humanity's most important technology. Writing preserves knowledge across time, allows complex civilization, enables accumulation of learning, and transcends individual mortality. Before writing, knowledge dies with Noah, oral tradition limited, cultural memory fragile, progress slow. After writing, knowledge preserved, complex ideas transmissible, cultural memory robust, progress accelerates. By inventing writing, Thoth gave humanity history, recorded past, law, written codes, science, recorded observations, literature, preserved stories, and civilization itself. Egyptian belief that words have power contains truth. Words do have power. Legal contracts, words create obligations. Vows and oaths, words bind behavior. Declarations, words change status. I pronounce you. Curses and blessings, words affect psychology. Persuasion, words change minds. Egyptians just took this further. If words have power in mundane realm, they have power in cosmic realm too. True names control things. Correct formulas shape reality. Spoken words manifest effects. This isn't primitive superstition. It's sophisticated speech act theory dressed in religious language. And Thoth bridges opposites. Life and death, guides between worlds, order and chaos, maintains Ma'at against Isfet, human and divine, teaches God's wisdom to humans, known and unknown, reveals secrets, time and eternity, measures temporal in eternal context. Thoth represents balance, mediation, the middle path, and reconciliation of opposites. In alchemy, Thoth as Hermes equals Mercury, the element. Mercury's properties, liquid metal, paradox, transforms other metals, mediates between states, and is essential to alchemical work. Mercury represents the mediating principle, that which transforms, the bridge between extremes, and the agent of change. This is Thoth's alchemical form. The weighing of the heart has multiple interpretations. Modern psychology might read this as the deceased confronts their shadow, Jung. The heart equals accumulated karma and conscience. The feather equals ideal self. Emit equals self-destruction. Thoth equals self-awareness and honest assessment. Philosophically, your deeds create your character. Character determines fate. Truth cannot be hidden. Justice is self-executing. For ancient Egyptians, moral accountability. Actions have consequences. Truth matters absolutely. Live according to Ma'at. Thoth, as Lord of Ma'at, maintains cosmic order. Ma'at means truth, justice, order, balance, right action, and cosmic harmony. Thoth maintains Ma'at through recording, truth preserved, measuring, balance maintained, judging, justice served, and speaking, order declared. Ma'at philosophy teaches the universe has inherent order. This order is moral, not just physical. Humans should align with this order. A deviation creates chaos and suffering. This parallels Stoic philosophy, live according to nature, Confucian philosophy, maintain social harmony, Dharma in Hinduism, cosmic order and duty, and Tao in Taoism, the way of reality. Some modern thinkers see Thoth as representing cognitive development, pre-literate consciousness, mythic, literate consciousness, rational, and post-literate consciousness, integral. Thoth represents the transition. In the information age, data equals raw facts, information equals organized data, knowledge equals understanding information, wisdom equals applying knowledge. Thoth represents data to wisdom transformation. Why does Thoth matter in the 21st century? We're drowning in data, but starving for wisdom. Information overload, fake news and misinformation, lost signal in noise, is a need for discernment. We need Thoth's wisdom, separate truth from falsehood, organize chaos into order, measure and evaluate, and record and preserve what matters. AI and technology raise questions. What is consciousness? Can language create reality? How do we judge truth? What knowledge should be preserved? These are Thoth's questions. Modern spiritual seekers turn to Thoth because mainstream religion is often unsatisfying. Science doesn't address meaning. Ancient wisdom seems authentic, and Thoth represents sacred knowledge. But danger exists. Gullibility, believing anything ancient. Escapism, fantasy over reality. Cultural appropriation, taking without understanding. And conspiracy thinking. Hidden knowledge equals paranoia. Healthy engagement with Thoth mythology. Appreciate metaphorical wisdom. Don't take literally. Learn from symbolism. Apply principles practically. Respect cultural origins. Distinguish myth from history. What is Thoth's ultimate meaning? Thoth represents the human capacity for understanding, consciousness, communication, language, organization, order, measurement, science, memory, history, justice, ethics, and transformation, magic, and alchemy. Thoth is humanity's intellectual and spiritual potential personified. Thoth mythology invites us to seek knowledge, speak truth, create order, judge fairly, remember wisely, transform consciously. The God who recorded everything teaches, your life is being recorded, not by external judge, but by your own consciousness. Your deeds create your character. Your words shape your reality. Your knowledge determines your wisdom. Live accordingly. For 5,000 years, from ancient Egyptian temples to modern occult circles, Thoth has represented humanity's highest aspirations: to know truth, to speak wisely, to record faithfully, to judge justly, to create beautifully, to transform profoundly. The ibis-headed god, with his reed pen, still has lessons to teach us, if we're willing to learn. End.